Market positioning is the most important thing you need to understand as a marketer. And in this video, I'm going to break down arguably one of my biggest pet peeves when I look at other marketers, operators, brands. I don't care what it is. If you get this wrong, you're going to piss me off. But number two, you don't stand out. And this is where everybody goes wrong. Shout out Briar Cochran for bringing this to my attention months ago. It changed my entire perspective of marketing. And it's how you position yourself in the market. We're going to cover what market positioning is, where most go wrong, and how to go about implementing this. What is market positioning? Number one, market positioning is where you stand in the market compared to everybody else. Where do you exist? Great example of this, and the way I love to tell this or explain this is think about it like an apple stand. If you go to a farmer's market and there is one apple stand there and you want apples, you're probably going to buy from that guy. Now, let's say there's 3 of them and they all look pretty much the same. Who are you going to buy from? Oh, it gets a little bit harder. Now, let's say there's 6 of them. Now, who are you going to buy from? If they all look identical and they all say apple stand on it, who are you going to buy from? You don't know. Now, let's say one of them has a black roof. Now, who are you going to buy from? Probably this guy, right? Immediately looking at this, your attention is drawn to this apple stand. So you're probably going to buy from this guy. Now, let's say your competition sees that happening and they start coloring their roofs in. Now, everybody has a black roof. Now, you're going to buy from? Well, you don't know again. So now what do you got to do? Maybe instead of a guy behind the counter, you put a girl. All right, everybody else has guys. Market positioning is your ability to position yourself different than everybody else in the market. Where from a very Neanderthal-like perspective, you're the one where people go, oh, that's different. I want to work with him. He doesn't look like everybody else. Obviously, there's a lot more nuance that goes into it, but your ability to position yourself in the market is what causes people's attention to go to you. It's like the whole, I think Hormozy talks about this all the time, the whole woman in the red dress thing. The better your market positioning is, the shinier that red dress is, the hotter the woman is. The more likely you're going to go, what? That's what you want. And that's why your market positioning is so important, because it's how you stand out. Now, the way that this looks in practice is typically, and I do this drawing all the time, your TAM is going to be filled with everybody doing the same stuff. And what you need to do is look for the one little section of the market that nobody's addressing. And then you enter there. And you have now positioned yourself different than everybody else. So that what you can then do is begin to take over the rest of the market. But getting started, your positioning in the market is the most important thing in the world. And where most people go wrong is the way that they approach this. Because what I see all the time in the online money space, and if you're a higher level business owner watching this, you may not experience this, but when you're in the agency world like I am, my God, is it a plague, is you will have one guy create one style of content that performs really, really well. And then everybody is just going to start taking it for their own. And then before you know it, you've got like 30 different people that all look identical. Great example of this. If you guys ever seen Kumar, the accountant, the old accountant guy, grew 1 million followers in like 2 days because he counter positioned really, really well. He had a really good market positioning. But then what happened is you had people seeing that and they just started ripping it. Now, if I'm looking for views and just attention, that's not a bad thing. I'm not going to say that's a bad thing. I'd be lying if I told you I didn't rip topics from people and content ideas from people because I know they perform. The problem with this is when you do that, anybody that's in your world and knows of the competition is probably aware that you copied them. And now you are not the authority anymore. The other person is, because they invented it. Another great example of this, I forget the guy's name, Smith Reese. He teaches like organic dropshipping or something on Instagram. This guy put out a content style where it's like him sitting here. It's like horizontal like this. Just imagine the rest is just black. And then there's text here. I know for a fact he invented this style. Same with the top-down pen stuff. Dude is a genius when it comes to inventing formats for content. But he created this style. Next thing you know, my entire feed is filled with people ripping this style. And that's where most people go wrong, is they never position themselves uniquely in the market. They just copy what other people do. And then guess what? They don't look like the authority anymore. They never did look like the authority because they're just a copy and paste to the next guy. That's why Yap content is some of my favorite, because anybody can do it and you are the differentiator. You can't really copy that format because it's just you talking to a camera. Nobody can copy you. And so that's the first problem I see. The second problem I see is they don't understand how their positioning fits into the market. And this is the part that drives me absolutely nuts. There's this dude I've been seeing on my feed all the time who audits funnels. Indian guy, and he looks homeless. And then he's talking about making you tons of money. I don't know him. I don't trust him. I don't like the guy. Gives me a weird fucking vibe. Why do you think anybody would buy from you? Your hair is fucking scraggly. You look homeless. And then you're talking about, I'll add an extra 20K a month or 30K, whatever it was. I'm never buying from this guy because he's not positioned in a way that is appealing to me. Same thing with a lot of these broccoli-haired growth operators or marketers or whatever you want to call them, brand scalers. They all look like this, and they got their giant fucking baggy jeans, little t-shirts, and they're like, I'll add an extra 100K to your business. Bro, you don't even look like you own a home dressed like that. You don't look like you could raise a kid dressed like that. I wouldn't want you raising a kid dressed like that. Why would I ever buy from you? Now, the caveat to this is people that resonate with this, yeah, they'll buy. But again, how many big dogs are dressing like this? Not many. 1 or 2. All you are is a downstream effect of some big dog that dresses like this, and you think if you dress like this, you're going to attract other clients. It's not usually how it works. You got to present in a way that resonates with the people you're speaking to. Again, it's why I wear black t-shirts. I keep it super simple. I don't overdo it. I'm not flashing anything. And if I had flashy stuff, still wouldn't flash it. Why? because it doesn't attract what I'm looking for. The way that you position yourself in the market is the most important thing you can do because it establishes you as an authority. If you do it right, it attracts the right type of people too. Again, the most interesting part of this, being more actively aware of the content side. I've always got this on the ads aspect, but content, it's so much worse because the barrier to entry is so low that people just rip your shit immediately. Whereas with ads, you have to be spending. So like when I would look at the ads manager, you wouldn't see much of it. You may see messaging getting ripped, but the counter positioning wasn't as big. Also, if you run ads, typically you're a better business owner, so you don't have this problem. But with the content, it's like people just rip what works. So I started posting these formats where it's like a little text, whatever, and then I would just be like green screen over top of it talking. And again, I ripped this from somebody and I mixed my own flavors in with it too, but I didn't take this from the marketing niche. And then what I progressively saw is the people around me saw that this works and they started copying it. If you're going to get views from it and it works, yeah, I encourage you to do it. Like I'm never going to tell you don't. But anybody that knows me and you knows that I'm the one that got it to work. And so now I maintain authority over you. Same thing with a sales call. Again, in the middle of a deal. And the reason I'm probably going to win is because I come across more professional and more of an authority than the guy who's broccoli haired in Miami. Simple. But it's the way that you position yourself in the market that affects everything. And again, that's the other thing. It's like I still rip formats from other people. But what I'm not doing is I'm not making my entire page a copy and paste of somebody else. Like again, I'll go back to these growth operators or these agency owners or these like online money guys. They all look the exact same and the only ones that stand out don't. Jeremy Haynes, why does he stand out? $1 million months. Nobody else is doing that. His positioning crushes. Boom, immediately won. Brian Mark, this guy is like the creator of trends. And that's why he wins. Because he creates shit and everybody else copies him. So now they know, oh, you learned from Brian? Cool, I'm just gonna go to Brian, not you. Why am I gonna learn from you? Now he dominates the niche. That's just how it works. And so how do you actually go about thinking of market positioning so that you're not copying from others, so that you're not ripping trends, so you don't look like everybody else and you actually present in a way that resonates with your buyers? How do we do it? Number one, map out who your ICP is, who you're trying to sell to. If you want to sell to broccoli haired kids, again, that seems to be the theme of this video, great, dress that way. You're gonna do it. That's how it works. But if you want to sell to a business owner that does a couple $100,000 a month, that isn't a broccoli haired dude, why are you dressing like a broccoli haired dude? Why are you doing it? It doesn't make sense. If you're trying to attract a wealth advisor, why are you flexing your cars? You look financially irresponsible when you do it. Why is that the focus? If you have it in there every now and then, great. But if every post is your car, sorry, buddy, you're not closing that deal. Somebody who presents better will. If you're talking to a straight edge person, don't make your tattoos visible because you're going to lose them. They're going to go, oh, he's got a tattoo. I don't know how his decision making. Again, is that a factual thing? No. But, still something they'll believe in. One of the funniest things, because I objectively have a very dark sense of humor, is that as a marketer, you get paid to stereotype. You walk into a Walmart, there's a certain group of people there. You walk into a Whole Foods, there's a certain group of people there. Why? The way you present attracts that group of people. It's okay to stereotype because stereotyping is how you know how to present and you know how to position. You think a sophisticated business owner cares if this video is super edited? No, they're here for information. They're here for content. You are watching this right now. You're not here because I've got some fancy car, some Rolex, because I'm flexing. No. And so that's the first thing, is understand who your ICP is. Once you understand who that is and you understand how you baseline have to present yourself, now what you need to do is look at all your competition. How are they presenting? How are they doing it? How do they show up? One of my favorite examples of this is Liquid Death. I didn't even know Liquid Death was water for the longest time. And then when I had it, I'll never forget it because I was like, this is still water in a tall boy that looks nothing like any of the other water products. I can't forget it. Now, is it the best for letting you know that it's still water? No. The reason I never bought it forever was because I thought it was sparkling. So I make it a little clearer on that objectively. But the way it's positioned, I'm never going to forget that. Fiji, never going to forget Fiji because it's like a square water bottle. The boxed water, never going to forget it because it's different. I was talking to a buddy yesterday. Let's have a canned Gatorade. Oh, dude, a canned Gatorade. That's so much better. The Gatorade with the twist nipple things. You know what I'm talking about? The orange twist nipples? You see one of those, you're grabbing it almost, at least I am. I'm grabbing it almost every time. I don't care what else is there. It's such a good experience and it's so different than anything else you get. I'm grabbing it. And so the way that you need to approach market positioning is, number one, am I actually speaking to who I want to speak to? You can do whatever you want in this life, but make sure it's in line with your goals. And sometimes that means sacrificing how you want to present for how you have to present. Second is look at your competition. If you're just a copycat of somebody, sorry, you're going to get beat by that person every time. And you will never look like the authority. Be different. Try new stuff. Find your brand. These whiteboard style videos, I'm leaning into this. Now, I took it from Haynes. I'm not going to tell you I didn't. But what I didn't do is download the same drawing app, follow the same video structure, do the same editing style. No, I took it and I spun it. I used a different app. I approached the videos differently, and it's totally fine. But I look different. I look different in the market. And that is the most important thing. You cannot look like somebody else. So my last piece of advice with this, and if you're curious how to counter position or better figure out your market positioning, you can fill out the application below, book call, speak to myself, or the member of the team will run through, audit what you got going on, see what you're probably messing up on. But the number one thing that you can do to really put this into action after you determine your ICP and your competition is if you go to work with any type of agency that is producing things for you, make sure that they are positioning you differently And again, the biggest plague I see is with all these content agencies because they slap you on a conveyor belt, give you to the same editors that they use. You can't knock them. That's their business. They'll get you views, but they'll make you look like everybody else. You've got to present differently. It is the most important thing. So remember, speak to your ICP, present like your ICP would want you to present like, understand your competition, assess how you can be different, and enter into that market differently. Be different, look different, sound and act different, and dress the part so that you attract who you want. So it's been driving me nuts lately, largely the deeper I get into content because of how bad it is in the content space. And the advertising world is really not a big problem. Anything that's free, anything with low barrier to entry, typically you get a ton of copycats. It's like detailing. He used to run a detailing company. Now it's detailing is slung all over the place. I only got into it because I used to detail in high school and we just started doing freelance gigs. I wasn't psyoped into some biz op. I didn't even know what copywriting was the whole time I ran that business. But besides the point, be different, be different, be different, be different, be yourself. Be yourself as a business owner. And if you want more content like this, drop a comment below which one to see below, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next one.